Fox News projects Democrat Katie Hobbs will defeat GOP candidate Kari Lake out in Arizona for that gubernatorial race.
One of the Republicans in this state said that Kari Lake told a legion of John McCain supporters across Arizona that they could go to hell. Tonight, they returned the favor.
Arizona's outgoing Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, has now defeated Kari Lake. Wacko, crazy Kari Lake, a former TV anchor who denies the 2020 election result. So Katie Hobbs, now Arizona's next governor. I'm going to break down this story, including some hilarious reactions, or at least one hilarious reaction from a Fox News anchor. But first here, so this is the result, the wonderful result. Let me go down here. Katie Hobbs, 50.39% to Kari Lake at 49.61%. So, Kari Lake, here's her reaction. Arizonans know BS when they see it. I agree they do. That's why they voted against you and your bullshit. So, of course, Kari Lake, one of many election deniers. This is a tweet from November 9th when this race was not yet called, but here from Vaughn Hilliard. Tonight, the GOP governor candidates who refused to say if they'd have certified Biden's 2020 win in their states. They all lost. I have to say, out of anything, these midterms have given me a little more hope. For a while, it appeared that people either weren't aware or didn't care about the threat that individuals like this were posing. But it appears people do. At least a majority of people understood, or at least a majority of voters understood that, yeah, these are complete morons. We can't trust these individuals. We're going to vote against them in every single situation. So really, really good to see that. People should be happy. You should have a little more hope for the future because of this, that there at least is a line, apparently, for the American voter base. But Katie Hobbs reacting here to her win, saying democracy is worth the wait because this election did take a while to count all the votes. Thank you, Arizona. I am so honored and so proud to be your next governor, with this photo here with her supporters. So Trump also reacted because Trump, of course, big supporter of Kari Lake, saying, wow, they just took the election away from Kari Lake. It's really bad out there. So as posed here by, I never know how to say this guy's name. Asin? A-sign? I don't know. But anyways, this fantastic tweeter who is often up on this news, saying here, yeah, by they, he must mean the voters, because what else is he talking about? It's important to laugh off these clowns with this election denying bullshit. Don't take any of this crap seriously. There is no, I'll get to in a second, how Arizona counts the votes. There is nothing weird going on here. So some states take longer than others because they have some, convoluted processes. They don't have enough people in place to actually be able to count all the ballots in time. But that doesn't mean anything weird is going on here. So voting rights advocates are breathing a sigh of relief as Hobbs staves off further damage to Arizona's election system. Republican lawmakers in the state introduced at least 81 bills seeking to restrict voting access in 2021 and 2022. Had she won, Lake had vowed to further dismantle voting norms in the state, arguing winners should be declared on election night, which if that happened, Katie Hobbs would have won. But anyways, I still would have won. But anyways, a rare occurrence in Arizona where mail-in votes can take days to count, while also foregoing ballot counting machines in favor of slower and less accurate hand counts. So yeah, Kari Lake posed a major threat to democracy. The position of, being a governor in a state like this, you have a lot of potential power over the results in a presidential election, potentially being able to flip your state if you decide certain votes don't count for whatever reason. So that's why it's so important that all of these complete losers lost their races. So also worth mentioning, this is ridiculous. Arizona's Kari Lake vows to be media's worst freaking nightmare if she wins. So the gubernatorial candidate has mirrored Trump in attacking the mainstream media, despite having thrived as a career anchor. So Kari Lake, that's what she did before this. Television anchor. And here she is saying that she'll be the media's worst freaking nightmare. which she herself was just a part of. Again, this is all an attempt for power. There are old tweets, old comments from Kari Lake criticizing Trump after 2016. And then she realized, hey, I can gain some power here if I play to this bullshit. And it is really crazy to see, you know, the true selves of certain people come out in situations where they feel like they can attain some power. They put aside any principles they may have had or pretended to have, all in this pursuit of gaining power and this desire towards fascism, which is both scary, but also, you know, it's comforting to see that people are just outright rejecting it. So here is Hannity and his reaction as the race was called. Here he is on Fox.
All right, apparently they did have a drop in Arizona, and Fox is projecting that Democratic Secretary of State, who should have recused herself, Katie Hobbs, has been elected governor of Arizona. Straight ahead.
Not very happy that he had to declare the winner here. So if you're wondering what he's talking about, should have recused herself over what? So the Secretary of State has some say in how elections are run in their state, but there's a lot more to the story, as broken down here by Truth Justice in Arizona. In Arizona, each county runs the election following the guidelines established by the Secretary of State, approved by the governor and AG. The governor and AG in Arizona, both Republicans. So the Secretary of State has no direct involvement in the day-to-day execution. The idea that somehow Katie Hobbs should have recused herself because she held statewide office, it's ridiculous. And of course, they didn't apply this to Kemp in Georgia, who also had the exact same position before he became governor, but they'll try and apply it here. It's so dishonest. Now, in terms of the issues that mattered apart from the threat to democracy here, abortion, of course, was a big one. So polling back in February shows that 9 in 10 voters in Arizona support the freedom to choose. And more recent polling after the overturning of Roe came out, this is from September, Arizona voter sentiment towards abortion does not align with recent ruling. So you go through the data here. You see 50% say abortion should be legal only under certain circumstances, and 41% say legal under any circumstances. So about 91% here to 9 saying illegal in all circumstances. But Kari Lake, I mean, she's crazy, but she wasn't against all abortion, right? Wrong. So Lake, meanwhile, ran on a deeply conservative platform supporting a total ban on abortions and vowing to declare an invasion at the southern border. A staunch supporter of Trump, she has also threatened to only accept the election results if she won. Before entering politics, Hobbs was a social worker who worked with homeless youth and an executive with a large domestic violence shelter in the Phoenix area. She was elected to the state legislature in 2010, serving 1 term in the House and 3 terms in the Senate, rising to minority leader. So Hobbs worked her way up in the party, but worth mentioning as well, I think this is the most important piece here, that she was a social worker who worked with homeless youth and worked with a domestic violence shelter. Someone here who actually shows in her past some care for people, some actual empathy. Meanwhile, Kari Lake, nothing wrong with being a TV anchor, but to go from that to then saying you're going to be the media's worst nightmare, it shows you just what kind of person you are. Last clip here is from, again, from Fox News. Here is Laura Ingram, and this is just amazing. Like, watching her here discuss that Republicans need to reanalyze, you know, there's some questions that need to be answered about the party, what we should do going forward, and then going to celebrate the overturning of Roe, which was integral to the losses that Republicans had.
So, look, we have a lot of questions, and whoever wants to lead the GOP should be giving us answers. But let's not forget, we've also had successes. In the history books, 2022 will probably be remembered as the year Roe versus Wade was overturned.
Yeah. And that's a large part of the reason why you lost. To go from questioning, why did we lose? We need some answers, to celebrating that is, again, showing you how disconnected, but also Laura Ingram, I think she knows exactly what's going on. She's just there as a propaganda piece. But for anyone else, any voter or whoever, to be disconnected and not realize why you're so unpopular. I mean, this hyper focus from the right on being anti-trans, being anti-abortion, anti-democracy, you have to imagine that is what helped to lead to their own defeat. Last couple things. This is just funny. Kari Lake here. This is back in October 28th, so before the midterm, saying here, thank you, Liz Cheney, because Liz Cheney endorsed Hobbs in the race. Liz Cheney, of course, being a Republican, but being one that acknowledges that Trump lost in 2020, which, as I've said in the past, Liz Cheney shouldn't really get much credit for. That's just basic. Yes, Liz Cheney recognized reality. Congratulations. And Liz Cheney does not have a good record. She voted with Trump like 99% of the time, something crazy. Anyways, Liz Cheney, not a good politician, but recognizes the results of the election. So Kari Lake here, thanking her for the anti-endorsement, claiming that it was helping Kari Lake in the race. Well, after Kari Lake lost, Liz Cheney came out saying this, "You're welcome, Kari Lake." So again, not giving Liz Cheney credit here because she's not a good politician in the grand scheme of things and understanding the actual history and what she has done. That said, it is funny to see this fight within the party and to actually see these election deniers lose their race. So this gives me some real hope for the future. Let's hope this attention on elections, on politicians continues. And of course, Youth Vote also deserves a massive, a lot of credit here for coming out and backing Democrats and helping to save democracy in the process.